Hey guys, welcome back to the Glide tutorial. Today we are going to be making a level, so that's the cool part. That's the part where I'll do super quick in the video, but it's going to take you hours on your own. Or you can always use the artwork folder. The level is going to be in there in the very end. So if you don't have the artwork folder, or sorry, if you don't have the level in the artwork folder, you should go back on Patreon or on the website and get that free package to put back on your game, basically. It's also going to include some more modification in it, hopefully, that can make your game look a little bit better overall. So, I'm taking a quick look right now, and you should do the same if you want to make your own level. Taking a quick look at the size of our player, he is, when we're looking here in UD, he is 2 by 3. In terms of height, I don't really care so much about height. I just want to have a quick gauge of how big this is going to look next to my level. So I'm going to use any, well, I'm gonna go use 3ds Max, but you can use any 3D modeling software. I like to use 3ds Max. I've grown up with it, I guess, and that's the one I decided to use. The really first thing you need to do, though, when you open up any 3D software, is to make sure your metrics are right. So in Unity, you're using meters. I'm gonna go under Customize here, Unit Setup, and make sure I am on meters. Also, in 3ds Max, you can see the grid here, but the grid is set on 10 meter by default, so I'm gonna put that on 1, and we end up with something like this. Now the second thing you need to do is to create some kind of replica of your player in size. So that is the size of my player right here, and we are now good to go and start creating your level. So I called mine map, and that's actually where I'm gonna start speeding up the video. This part is really just a creative process, so you go ahead and you do whatever you want. I'll speed up the video, and I'll give some tips in between the stages of the creation. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna lay down a map, hopefully super quickly, and then we are gonna be creating a texture, a really simple texture. We want to be keeping this low poly style, so I'm gonna go for something like a texture that is 64 by 64 with only a color palette on it, and we're going to sample from those colors. And then after that, we are going to just fix our mesh, export it, put it in a game, and that'll be it. We'll have to create the level, and we will be good to go. So guys, I will catch you very, very soon. Alright, so I made a quick mesh right here, just a quick pat. And I'd like to just see it in the game, try to follow it as close as I can in the game. So I'll just rename it for, I'll just call it map for now. And I will export it. Something really important you do when you export into the 3ds Max is you make sure you do a reset X form. Once you have your reset X form, you collapse your mesh, and then you make sure the pivot point is the same as in Unity. So you gotta make sure that it is pointing upward like this. I mean, the Y is pointing upward, and then the Z is pointing forward. So I have it ready for export. Let me go under export, and I'll export as map. Okay, put that inside of my, well, on my desktop, and then I'll put it in my game. So quickly go back in Unity. Now that I have my FBX, I'll actually take this and put it right in my artwork folder, and then put it in the game, and it looks something like that. So I still have my box now, obviously. Gonna delete my box, and I might actually give this a try. So what I'll do is I'll actually replace the level 1 by that. So under, well, actually level 0. I'll go under level 0. I leave the token in there. I want to leave the token in there, of course, and then put my map in here. and now it is being affected by the skylight, which is fine. Remove the box, put a collider on that, so mesh collider. And now for the sake of gameplay, I'll just rotate this the proper way, so it was like this in 3ds Max. Now, I think this is a little bit too small. This is a lot too small, so I think I'll just double the scale of it in 3ds Max, but let me just try it out. Put it at this level, and then I'll plug in my Unity remote, and I'll have a try in the actual game. So back on the preloader, I have my Unity remote running right now, so I'll press on play. And it is working on my remote right now, so let me go inside the first level and try to navigate on top of this. So it's gonna be way too hard to actually play this game. We're gonna have to actually scale it up a little bit to make it easier for the player. Now, note that I'm not using the actual tilt mechanic. I'm using the oh, that was kind of bad. I'm using the finger, so the drag, and I'm having a really hard time playing with drag, to be honest. So I might want to tweak these controls in the end. But yeah, following this is not gonna be that easy, like I said. So I'll just scale it up and make it a little bit easier for everybody. Now I just realized that I'm dying because of the def box right here. So what I'll do, go back on my level, get rid of the def box. I'm not quite sure where they are. Oh, I think they're in the I think they are in the game. Let me go in the game and get rid of that def box. It's kind of pointless if we're gonna make our own levels. Alright, so like I said, I'll be making this a little bit bigger. Back in 3ds Max, I'll take my scaling tool and I'll just scale the whole thing to say 125. It didn't seem to mess up my mesh. Now my mesh is obviously not optimized enough. It's something I want to do actually right now. I'll go and try to get as much optimization I can off this. So I'll be welding some target are really close, like this one. Maybe not this one, but maybe over here. And I'm just trying to create a low poly look. So guys, do as much as you can to get the least amount of polygon on this. Remember, this is a mobile game, and it has to be safe, it has to be under 5K. 5K poly would be just enough for a mobile game. Alright, so what I'll do right now is I'll just, now that I have my path, the path that I want the user to follow, I'll just actually put some walls up. So I'll start just raising some walls like this. And of course, if you collide with those, well, you die. So that's the whole point of the game. Is that high enough? I believe this is high enough. This is a little bit too high, actually. Maybe like that would be great. And I'll also add a invisible collider if the player tries to go above that. But this is like a open racetrack, we could say. And I'll just go back to trying to make this look good. So guys, I will be right back again. Alright, so here is my base mesh. As awful it might look, this is actually what I'm going to be using for the game, and I just played it right now. It feels good, to be honest. It's not too small, it's not too big. As you can tell, the lighting is not good right now, and that's totally normal. That's because we're not using the right shader. So what I think I'll be using is just a standard unlit shader for unlit and then texture. So talking about texture, let's quickly put some color in here. The only reason I want to put color right away is so I can keep on testing and see something, because obviously right now you can't see anything. So I'll quickly just boot Photoshop on my end, or what we're doing right here doesn't require any big photo editing software. I'm simply going to be using a 64 by 64 texture, or even we could be using 128 in case we want to be generous with the amount of colors we can have in our game. Not in our game, in our level, sorry. So I'm going to be calling this palette, or map 1 palette. It's simply going to be a color palette. So I'll create a new layer, put some colors I want to see in there, And this is really going to be experimental. So I want to have some kind of cliffside cliff. What color could be a cliff? Like brownish. Let me quickly find the perfect color for this. I'll just be using this. So yeah, that's going to be my cliff color. We want to have another one for, say, the sand. So I'll be using a lighter of that color. That's good. And do we want grass? We can also have grass. Why not? Guys, remember that this is very, very low poly, so there's no texturing. There's only colors. Now what I'll be doing right here is I'll scale all of these down to something that is a good multiplier. So 128, say, divided, we want to have, say, 8 colors per row if we want to be super generous. So 16 pair, let me go here, that's 16 pixels. And I'll be simply moving them one next to each other like this. So now I have these 3 colors. I can start making my level with, and if I need more I can just, of course, we have plenty of space. So this, when I said we could be generous and have something that is 128 by 128, that is definitely too much. Let me scale that back down to 64 by 64. And here we go. So that's 64 by 64. We can have a total of 4, 8, 16 colors in our game. Amazing. Or we could just scale this one down as well. It really doesn't matter at this point. I'll save this under a PNG file, and I'll import it both inside of Unity and inside of 3ds Max for me, my case, because I'm using 3ds Max. So I'm going to drag this in my artwork folder again, and here we go. We have the map 1 palette, and I'll simply just create a material out of that by drag and dropping this on top of the mesh. Now you're gonna get this awful result, which is going to help me as well find if we have any glitches. I don't think we have any glitches. If I put that in wireframe, it looks okay to me. I'm actually gonna put that in shaded wireframe for a little while. The only reason we get those artifacts is because the UV isn't done. So again, something we'll do in a moment is this glitch over here. This is a little bit glitch, I believe. We'll have to fix this. But yeah, so let me go ahead, and now we have our material right here. It's on the texture. We can definitely see what's going on in the pad, and I think we got kind of lucky because it's not supposed to be that clear. But if we head over to 3ds Max, do the exact same thing. I'll be pressing on M to open up my material window. And again, I'm sorry if you're not using 3ds Max. That's the only thing I use nowadays. I've tried Blender, but Blender has some really weird keybind for me, and I really had a hard time. So my material is here, and it looks like that. Definitely not good looking, really, really awful. So we'll go ahead and just make sure we have everything right here selected. That could be our sand color over here. So I'll be choosing the the vertex in the center, then control clicking on polygon. It's gonna select everything around it, and that can be my sand color. So unwrap UVW, and here this is exactly how we do it. It's the most simple thing, right? So you put the color palette up here, you take all the vertex there is, in this case here they are, and you collapse them into a single little pixel. So I am on a older version of 3ds Max. I kind of forgot where to click. Oh, here it is. So you align vertical and horizontal like this, and now collapse everything under a single thing. And I can just put that pixel right here on the sand. And guys, that is all I'm really doing to make this work. So I'll keep on doing that. This is going to be my cliff color. So all around it is going to be cliff, and of course there's going to be grass where our player is supposed to follow the trail. So guys, I will speed this up again, and I will see you guys as soon as I have done something that is worth looking at, which hopefully is going to take less than an hour. Alright, so here we have it. This is the colored version, the very bad colored version of the game. I'm going to remove this box. I don't need this box anymore. Again, I'll be exporting everything just to give this a quick try, see if I like it, and you know, from inside the game I'll be able to know what to modify and what to try and polish. So, as always, reset X form. We're going to make sure that the pivot point is pointing in the right direction, and this is also going forward, so 180 degrees. Export this one more time inside of the Unity folder. And yes, to everything. And here we go. So that's our level right here. I just messed up the orientation in the game, or no, actually that's working. Right, and that's our game. So when we play, it's gonna look like this. Obviously, we're gonna have to fix the shader a little bit, get some better lighting in there. It's always a matter of lighting this thing. If we put the standard shader, it doesn't look too bad, but we're gonna have to put our own lighting in here. So directional light maybe, and then we point it in. I'm not sure which direction we should, but I think that the preloader does have a directional light already, so we might want to take this one and remove it. And I don't know why I did that. The preloader doesn't have anything to do. It's in the game actually. Yeah, the game has a directional light. I'm going to remove it. And now we can do the lighting in every single one of our level one by one. If, of course, you want to be using something, some lighting in your scene. You can also be putting that on unlit like we just done. The only thing that you're going to have to do at this point to make this work is you are going to have to put your waypoint at proper places. So that's my map right here. I'll just be lowering it at the beginning. Always remember that your origin right here, the 0, 0 of Unity, is going to be your start point. So this is where our player starts. We want to be giving him a little bit of a, he needs to know what's going on. So I'll be putting it right around here. And then let's modify our thing a little bit. Let's modify our rings so they are at the appropriate places. I'm going to go under level, select, I should get rid of pretty much everything, and start putting down rings from here. So the first ring, let's put it right about here. So the player knows what the hell is going on. He sees the first ring as the game starts. Then I'm going to be duplicating this. Then let's move it a little bit forward. If we want to be really, if we really want to be annoying, we can be putting the ring right about here, and he's gonna have to do a turn and then turn again. We could do that, or we could make it easy for him and maybe move it in the center. It doesn't have to be that close, in fact. Just remember that he's gonna have an arrow pointing where to go next, so as soon as he crosses this ring, he needs to know that he's going to be turning right. So what I feel like doing is just creating another ring and putting it right about here. So that's going to be like the hardest turn. I don't even know if this is good for level 1. This might be a little bit too hard for level 1 when people are still learning the controls, but hey, they're going to have some time to learn it. Our game is there for a while. Alright. That's ring 1, that's ring 2. Ring 3 is right around the corner. We can have a really weird ring over here. I plan on doing some really small graphic here, maybe a bridge, some waterfalls on the side. That could be fun, just for a player to look at while he's traveling this big empty space right now. So let me put that at the beginning over here, and then he needs to know he's gonna turn. So we're gonna put another one right about there. I'm sorry, I'm just commenting random level design right here. I don't mean to do that all the time. It's my special episode. Thank you. And finally, or almost finally, one last ring, and I'll be putting it in the choke. Well, I'm just kidding. Let's have another one in the middle over there. That's going to be a little bit higher than the rest. So, like this. Like this. Okay, cool. That's our level. We can put some coins. Oh, I know what we can do. We can start putting some coins at random places, like, not so random, but say about here, we can put a coin. So it's going to be really hard to catch. He's going to have to do a turn left and then turn right again into another turn left. It's going to be amazing. Let me quickly build that to my phone. I'd like to play it with the real control, so with the accelerometer. I'll build and run this, put that on my phone, You won't be able to see me play it. Actually, you could if I turn on the webcam. But that's going to be a real struggle. I'll actually show you the footage on the phone instead. So here we go, we've got our game. A little preloader right here. We have the tilt control enable. As you can tell, I'm just moving, well actually you can't really tell, but I'm moving my phone right now. Everything seems to work just like last time. We did corrupt our save file. We do have a small glitch here in the menu. All things we can fix quite easily. But let's go in our first level because that's what interests us. So this is easily doable. And what about this turn? This turn is actually really hard to do with the controls we currently have. I can't tilt more than this. Actually, this is the more I can tilt. So I'm realizing that the controls are really weak here. This is like literally my phone is 90 degrees right now, so we need to increase this by quite a lot. Also, the lighting is not really fun, and this ring has a weird orientation. I'm guessing this is because of the animation on it. But definitely not something we can play right now with the current settings of our controller. We're going to be changing them right about now, actually. So I'm headed into the player mode, and in the player mode, we have our controls. Amazing. So where are the controls we're using? They're actually not in the player control. On my bad. I think they're in the manager. Here they are. Okay, so are we using the accelerometer? If yes, we have the input acceleration on it. We don't do any modification to it. I think we should. Here we do have some speed up, so when you're playing with your finger, you can actually go to a certain speed, which is not really what was meant to happen in the first place. I like the two controls to be exactly the same. So let me actually check this out really quickly. Okay, so right here in our finger control, in our drag control, we want to be actually checking this if we go above 1, which is something we usually do. So if r dot magnitude is bigger than 1, then we'll want to be actually putting that back on a normalized vector. So r dot normalize just like this, and then we can do a return r. So that's fine and all, but then we gotta be increasing the speed at which we turn, and yeah. So we're gonna go in the player mode for that. So we did open it for a good reason. And we have a rotation speed right here. Let's increase both of these. I'm thinking about even tripling them to some extent. So let's do 9 in X, and for the Y, I actually like the Y, how slow it is. I'll be putting it on 3. So just double it for this one. And I'll quickly just build this again, see what kind of result we get, see if I just messed up the whole drag mechanic. And I'll be checking the drag mechanic by playing the game on remote. So if I can just get it to work really quickly. For some reason Unity is running both the game and my remote at the same time. Okay, so I'm currently on the drag controls. Let's see if I broke anything. It's definitely fast. It's a lot faster actually. And I'm not disliking it. I'm actually liking it quite a lot, to be honest. Okay, so yeah, the animation is something we might fix in another episode. But right now, this is what we have. And the rest is just a matter of polishing the level. I could actually take you through the whole process. I think I'll be leaving it at the end of this video. So what I'll be doing is I'll be leaving the video playing with the whole making the level process. You can see it. And I'm not going to be speeding it up as much as I could, just so you guys can actually have a look at it if you want to. And if you don't want to, that's very fine. You can move on to the very next video once we have your level. We're gonna go ahead and just start polishing things a little bit. Fix the ring animation. That's definitely something we don't want to see there. We want the ring to be in the proper direction. We'll also be changing the arrow. You can tell right now on our screen the arrow is really not good looking at all. So we'll be fixing that. And guys, that's actually where we're going to be ending today's episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please leave a like on the video. If you don't want to do any 3D model, that's also fine. You can download this very level. Once it's completed, it's going to be in the artwork folder, the artwork pack that you can find on the website or on the Patreon page. I see a lot of you are downloading it on the website, which is great for me, but at the same time, it would be so much easier to download it on Patreon. It is under let's see, so download over here, and then we have the glide asset. So under this very object here, on this very shop item, it's free. You can actually download all the artwork folder. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Again, I kept saying that all the time. I will see you in the next one.